Kaushal, welcome. I, Sharu Kaushal, welcome you all to the session of International Summit organized by City University Ludhiana, India, in collaboration with University of Malais, Italy, Tradepreneur Global Academic Platform UK, UN Sustainable Development, Global Aid, Decent Work and Economic Development. I request to Dr. Rashmi Gujarati ma'am to welcome all the speakers for the today's event. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Very good afternoon. And on behalf of City University, Tradepreneur Global Academic Platform and University of Malais, I would like to give a warm welcome to our speakers, those who have joined from different countries with us. So today we are going to focus on the goal 8, target 8.5, 8.6, 8.7 and 8.8. As we know that our this summit is going related with the UN Sustainable Development Goal 8. As we know that goal 8 is related with the decent work and economic development. The key role of decent work for all in achieving sustainable development is highlighted by a Sustainable Development Goal 8, which aim to promote, sustain, inclusive and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment and decent work for all. Decent work is related with the employment creation, social protection, rights at work and social dialogue, represent integral elements of new 2030 agenda for sustainable development. Furthermore, crucial aspects of decent work are broadly rooted in the target of many of other 16 goals. Today, our target is 8.5, which is related with the full employment and decent work with equal pay. By 2030, achieve full of productive employment and decent work for all, women and men, including for young people and persons with disabilities, and equal pay for work and equal value. Next, our target 8.6 is related with the promote youth employment, education and training. By 2020, sustainable reduce the proportion of youth not in employment, education or a training. So it's a very hard time to give employment to our youth generation. In the 8.7 target, we are going to focus on and moderate slavery, trafficking and child labor. It is a very important for a child. Take immediate and effective measures to eradicate forced labor and murder, slavery and human trafficking, and rescue the prohibitions and eliminations of the worst form of child labor, including recruitment and use of child soldiers. And by 2025, there would be and child labor in all its form. This is the target, focusing on it, that no child work should be there. In 8.8, our speakers are going to focus on protect labor rights and promote sales working environment. And safe working environment is a very important. So protect labor right and promote safe and secure working environment for all workers, including migrant workers, in particular women migrants or those in any other employment. Everybody wants a safe environment. This is a very important part. So today with us, our speakers are from different countries and they are going to focus on this. They are going to highlight on these particular topics. So I would like to give a welcome and welcome from City University to all of our speakers. And today our students are going to learn a lot of things from of you. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you too much, ma'am. Yesterday, we have covered till target 8.4 with our expert speakers. Today, we are going to commence with target 8.5 full employment and decent work with equal pay. I would like to invite our first speaker of the event, Dr. Ravikant Sharma, Associate Professor, Galgotia University, Greater Noida. He has vast 20 plus years of academic experience. His research interests are services, marketing, corporate entrepreneurship, and strategy. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, should I share my screen?
Yes, sir, you
So
can.
please, sir, please.
Okay, ma'am.
Session of International Summit.
Okay. Ma'am, it is visible?
Yes, yes, it's sharing.
Okay.
Yes.
So first of all, thanks to Rashmi ma'am for giving me the opportunity for the interaction of this sustainable development regarding the full employment and the decent work with equal pay. Even though it is very, very critical areas to discuss about these things, but I have tried to will develop something related of this aspect. And I would like to also thanks for all whosoever directly or indirectly related with this seminar, because it is a platform where we can exchange our views on different prospects, and ultimately the purpose is to achieve the sustainable development. After the COVID-19, we are entering a new world, and of course, where the employment has cut down, a major impact on men and women in different countries have, and we have to start this again with this journey. First of all, I would like to define what is the meaning of the full employment. The first definition of full employment would be the situation where everyone willing to work at the going wage rate is able to get a job. This would imply that employment is zero, because if you are not willing to work, then you should not be counted as unemployed. To be classified as unemployed, you would need to be actively seeking work. This does not mean everyone of working age in the employment. Some adults may leave labor force, for example, women looking after children. Definition of full employment. In practice, we never see zero employment, and this can make full employment hard to define. Generally, an employment rate 3% or less would be considered to be full employment. Optimal unemployment level. And the definition of full employment will be optimal level of unemployment. In practice, an economy will never have zero employment, because there is inevitably some fractional unemployment. This is the unemployment where people take time to find the best job for them. Fractional employment is not necessarily a bad thing. It is better people take time to find a job suitable for this skill level rather than get the first job that comes along. Generally, you may expect fractional unemployment to cause an employed rate 2 to 3%. Therefore, some economists may claim that unemployment of less than 3% indicates full employment, or at least very close. Decent work concept. Decent work sums the aspirations of people for their working lives, for work that is productive, delivers a fair income with security and social protection, safeguards basic rights, offer equality of opportunity and treatment, respects for personal development, and the chance for recognition and to have your voice heard. Decent work is also central to efforts to reduce poverty and is a path to achieve equitable, inclusive, and sustainable development. Ultimately, decent work underpin peace and security in communities and societies. Gender equality and decent work. Gender equality is considered essential to achieve decent work, and it underpins at all ILO work. With gender mainstreaming brings the strategy to realize gender equality in the world of work. The work of ILO in promoting gender equality also support ILO's efforts to eliminate discriminations in the workplace. ILO Gender Equality Conventions, Equal Remunerations Convention 100-195-1, Discrimination Employment Occupations Conventions 111-1958, Workers with Family Responsibility Convention 156, 1981, Maternity Protection Conventions 183, 2000, Part-Time Conventions 175, 1994, and Home Workers Convention 177, 1996. Gender equality at the workplace. Right ways, a matter of human rights and justice, economic efficiency, good business sense for employers, development, instrumental in achieving economic growth and poverty reduction, inequalities accumulated over life cycle, decent work cover all forms of work. Good practice from the world of work, right at work, fostering employment, social protection, and social dialogue. Policy response employment. Gender equality, central element in all aspects of employment creations in macroeconomic frameworks, achieve labor market policies, skills and employability enterprise development, and employment intensive infrastructure development, gender-based occupational segregations and unequal power relations must also be addressed. Women's skills need to be properly valued and wage should match their educational advancement. Policy response to social protection. Social security system reform to take into account the increased participation of women and unequal treatment of women in pension schemes must be removed. Occupational and safety needs of women and men need to be studied at policy developed, taking into account reproductive health implications. Maternity protection should be part of the overall government responsibility. Discrimination must be eliminated in recruitment of women of childbearing ages. Paternity and parental leaves need to be extended. Policy response principles and rights. Government must ratify ILO conventions, in particular conventions relating to discriminations and equal pay is starting points. Existing and new legislations must be looked through a gender lens to ensure they do not perpetuate discrimination against women. Ratifications of the ILO child labor conventions and actions against the worst forms of child labor. Policy response as a social dialogue. Social dialogue and tripartism are essential policy tools to advance gender equality. Participation of the women must be increased. Collective bargaining should address that include such as the gender pay gap, protection against discriminations, work-family measures, sexual violence and the harassment, and the promotions of the female employment. Negotiators needs to be trained and gender equity and equal pay. See this, the data, progress made towards the gender target, but not all the countries as on the track. Active decline and expected decline. Between different countries, Japan, Argentina, Brazil, Indonesia, Turkey, Korea, India, Australia, UK, Germany, Spain, South Africa, France, Italy, European Union, Mexico, Canada, South Africa, United States, Russia, and China. Narrow the gender gap not driven by declining in the participation of the men. Change in the participation rates by the gender between the age of 2012 to 18, women and men. A more mixed picture for other labor market outcomes. The gender gap, pay gap remains substantial 2006 to 2017. The gender gaps, part-time work remains gap. Minority of the managers for women 2012 to 2018. A small improvement in the gender gap in the self-employment 2012. The real picture, reality and reality. cents earned by the women for each $1 earned by the man on an average, comparing the median wage of the full-time year-round workers by race, ethnicity, and gender. Gap is significantly worse for women, color, and the problem persists when comparing the earnings of the women and men in the same race of ethnicity. It is happening every industry, more or less, especially some of the, for example, the airlines, air industries is going to happening for the job of the pilots, where males dominating job continuously harassing the job for the females. But of course, in India, what white female pilots are more as compared to other world over industries. Gender's impact of COVID-19. Health crisis can accelerate existing gender inequities as the global health pandemic caused by COVID-19 is ongoing. The impacts and effects are still being assessed and understood. However, preliminary research and emerging data show that women are likely to be affected in a particular ways by this global pandemic. Inequality of outcome. Both the risk and the opportunities of the changing work beings about may result in new pattern of inequality across different socioeconomic dimensions. On the one hand, a greater diversity of forms of work can enhance workers' choice, facilitate reconciliation between work and private life, and ease access to the labor market for the disadvantaged or unrepresented groups, including women and older workers. The flexibility offered by new forms of work can also be an element of recycling in the face of economic shocks. On the other hand, non-standard works has some negative implications for workers' well-being compared with the of standard workers. This is because new forms of work often imply fragmented careers and more frequent periods of inactivity, which may lead to greater earnings inequality as a result of difference in hours worked, as well as to diminished access to trading opportunities, social protection, and services. Access and sustainability of social protection in a changing world of work. Social protection helps workers and families to cope with foreseen circumstances and life needs, to example through replacement income, cost compensation, or through enable social services. However, fostered economic infrastructure or automation can be expected to amplify social risk, including long-term unemployment. Similarly, many of the non-standard forms of work increase flexibility for both workers and employers, but increase income volatility for workers by making careers less participate non-standard forms of work, which blur the distinction between employment and self-employment, raise questions about workers' access to social benefits as well as the financial sustainability of social protection system. The legal environment, which is the you can say the founding stone for implementing the equal work, equal pay. It is most important thing, where concerns, laws, agencies, regulatory actions, and management responses are exist everywhere, every countries. And ILO continuously supporting this legal environment. Indian context, if we talk about, the Supreme Court has identified several grounds which can help prepare and creating the wage differences. Educational qualification was held to be the valid ground for wage difference. Even for similar posts, if there is a difference in nature of work, then an extension of reliability and responsibility of one more than other person. A rational basis to give the higher wage to a junior is also identified under the test of the reasonable classification. If duties and responsibility are not same, even though functions are similar. The discussion of these international conventions and the recognitions of equal pay for equal work in the domestic legal system of many countries have been done to relate the development of the principles in the era of globalization. Although the doctrine is internationally accepted, but dispute arises while assessing and meaning of the equal values. Definitely, because varying on according to the cultures and the creeds. Conclusion. There has been an effective legal acknowledgement of the principles of the equal pay for equal work in India, across the globe. It is now important to bring awareness and bring transformations at the social level so that the sort of inequality between men and women can be curbed right from the initial level. If there is a need to have transformative equal pay policies and collective bargaining arrangements, the principles of equal pay for equal work has devised a way for the concept of wage justice. It can be done by raising value of the oppressed class and getting rid of any wage hierarchy that is based on factors that include genders. The laws mention that inequality in wages cannot be done on the basis of gender, caste, creed, religion, and other. It is important to identify right and highlight martial status and pregnancy, as well as them talking about workplace. And last, precise quote by the C.W. Jenks. It has been said that equality of any civilization may be judged by the statutes which is accords to women equality between the sexes, like social racial equality has become one of the seminal principles of contemporary social thought. In such a situation, it is not unnatural that the claim for equal remuneration for men and women workers for work of equal values should have become almost a symbol of gender equality between the sexes. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity for this. Thank you very much for the audience and Rashmi ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, sir. Thanks for an excellent presentation. We are grateful for the time and effort you took to share your thoughts and explain this topic with detailed data analysis. Thank you. Thanks, really, really thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now it's time to move to the target 8.5, full employment and decent work with equal wage. For this, I would like to invite Fatma Una, Director General Maldives, Media Council Maldives. She has over 15 years of experience of public services and holds many different positions in the government civil services sector in Maldives. She started her career as a secretary and now she holds the Director General position at Maldives Media Council and also worked at the Ministry of Housing and Infrastructure and Ministry of Health. In her educational background, she has pursued MBA, Bachelor of Business Management and Marketing, and certificate in leadership in office. She is a proud woman who has been awarded Asian HR Leadership Award, Woman at Leadership Award. We really welcomed you to ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the good introduction. And let me share my presentation here first. Can see my presentation now, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible to all. Please, ma'am.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Warm greetings to Tradepreneur Global Academic Platform. Okay. And before starting this presentation, I would like to thank you, Ms. Dr. Gujarati and Prof. Albert, for giving me this great opportunity. Well, today I'll be talking about Sustainable Development Goal 8.5, which is full employment and decent work with equal pay. Just a minute, few minutes, please. At first, let us talk about the employment here, which is goal number 8.5. The aim of this goal is promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable. Can hear me, right? Everyone?
Yes,
Can-
yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So the aim of goal number 8.5 is promote sustained and inclusive, sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. And the activities to achieve full and productive employment and decent work for all women and men, including for young people and persons with disabilities, and equal pay for work of equal values. At first, let us talk about employment. What is full employment? It would be the situation, as Dr. Ravikant mentioned, it is the situation where everyone willing to work at the going wage rate and that are able to get the job. And when talking about the decent work employment based on International Labour Organization, decent work is productive work for women and men in conditions of freedom, equality, security, and human dignity. In general, we could say that it is a fair pay and the employee has a job security that is called decent work employment. Well, here I'm going to share some of the insights from Maldives. According to National Bureau of Statistics in Maldives, 2020, the total population in Maldives is 540,000. The total labor force is 191,270, which is 60% of the employment. Employment is 57%, which is 181,144. Yeah, I'm talking about Maldives. The unemployment rate is 10,127. The most occupation holds in Maldives is the types of occupation holds in Maldives is the contributing family workers, employers, group workers, own accountant workers. These are the most occupations that hold in current situation. Now let us talk about the Maldives and their employment and economic growth. Maldives has 20 atolls and 164 resorts. Currently, Maldives population is around, as I mentioned earlier, 540,000 people that dispersed across 185 islands. Also, more than 30% of the population lives in the capital city in Male. That is more than 30, from that, more than 30% of the population, as I mentioned, lives in Male. The country has been success with considerable development of the economy's infrastructure. When we talk about employment in Maldives, tourism is the biggest employment sector, as you can see from this slide. Secondly, fisheries and agriculture is the chief source of export products of large employment contributor. And the employment sector is civil service, who holds more employment in Maldives. According to the country-based census rapid COVID-19 livelihood assessment, which conducted by Ministry of Economic Development Program, has revealed that deep cross-cutting impact of Maldives tourism sector is currently. In this report also highlighted that 205,570 employees were residents. From that, 45,000 tourist resort employees are directly affected because of COVID-19. From that, which includes approximately 22,000 Maldivian. The assessment further has indicated that 16% of the employees were terminated, while 84% were retained with reduced pay. Among the employees retained, most of them have lost their income completely, but partially as they were put on either no pay or reduced pay of their period between April to June 2020. This was the major impact on their income, households, and their family. However, the long-term prospects of the sustainable agriculture and Maldives has a lot of challenges. By the scaling of operation, labor with appropriate technical skills, capital and investment, to resolve this issue, the government has established state-owned enterprise, which is called Agro National Corporation Private Limited, is established in 2020. And the employment sector is called civil servant, which is have a high population. In civil service sector population, employment population is 25,652. And more than 63% of employees are female staffs. Since our population dominates women in Maldives, they are dominating high number of employment in many fields. Still, male or men gets higher pay compared to the women. Civil servants most of the civil servants age group is 30 to 34 years, and total 9,280 civil servants are serving or employed in capital Male city, and other rest of 16,000 employees works in the atolls. As an informal employment, women works more than men. 44% of the women works currently, and 36% of men works in Maldives as an informal employment. From the data as I got from the census report, 22% of the government is current expenditure is on salary and wages. According to the Trade Economic Global Macro Model and Analysis Expectation in the year 2020, Maldives GDP is expected to reach 5.8 billion USD. But still, economic growth has been dropped and significantly weakened, including tourism, fisheries, and agriculture. In the year 2020, unemployment rate was so high, it became 7.2%. But fortunately, in the year 2020, after the COVID-19, this has been decreased, and unemployment rate became 5.3. And we are expecting the GDP growth 10.5 into 2020. Also, it is expected to improve tourism economic growth in the year 20. Still, the recovery will be slow because economic growth has become dropped significantly. In this reason, 2020 unemployment, as I mentioned, it was decreased. As part of the economic relief, address the advertised social and economic impact, COVID-19 government rolled out response package to provide the financial supports to household, individuals, and business affected by pandemic. The support package includes working capital for business and micro and small, medium-sized enterprises, such as loan for business and individuals, income supports allowance to affected individuals, and utility discounts to households. Because of the COVID-19 situation, government has introduced different loan schemes like house loan, student loan, entrepreneur loan, financial aids to the students who studied abroad, also electricity and water subsidies to the society. Also, Modern has received some donors from the various countries because of this COVID-19 situation. From Australia, Bangladesh, Canada, China, European Union, in India, Japan, Korea, Singapore, and Thailand, and UAE. These are the countries that we got aids from different countries. According to the National Bureau of the Statistics, top occupation in Maldives are administrative and executive secretaries. As you can see in this slide, these are the top occupations in Maldives: administrative executive secretaries, cashiers and ticket clerks, deep sea fisheries workers, general office clerks, but still the highest paying of the employment is called chief executive officers, college professors, lawyers, pilots, and doctors. The expected employment in Maldives, according to the data, world highest paid countries are US, Ireland, Switzerland, Australia, United Kingdom, and Canada, but Maldives is far away from these countries. Expected employment in the Maldives, apart from Maldivian, these are the countries, people who works in Maldives: Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, China. Most of the tourism sector holds Sri Lankan and Bangladesh, India, high positions too. Full employment and decent work with equal pay. For the goal number 8.5, Maldives has set some goals like Maldives Country Operation Business Plan 2021 to 23. They set the goal strengthening competitiveness and diversify the economy, enhance public sector efficiency and the physical sustainability. The Asian Development Bank Country Partnership Strategy 2020 to 24, they have set the goals to improve the quality of life of island communities while ensuring environmental sustainability, enhance public sector efficiencies and fiscal sustainability by improving the quality and efficiency of public service and SOEs and the tax administration. When talking about the men and women in Maldives, disability in Maldives in 2020, this is also, in disability population is quite high in Maldives. In the year 2019, statistics shows that gender ministry statistics shows that 8,948 disabled people were registered in their data, who have registered their data from that disability 8,000 people, 300 people were employed, which is 226 male and 74 female and 226 male were employed in Maldives. This is only 3% of the population, and from this, government has assistance to these disability people. As of now, 6.9 billion rupiah has spent for the disability people. Equal pay for work of equal values. Maldives Minimum Wage Board has set the minimum wage rate 5,700, yet to be approved by Economic Ministry. This has established minimum wage. This is the first time that has established this minimum wage, which has published on 8th November 2021. According to the minimum wage rate, civil servants are eligible to get minimum 7,000 rupiah per 6 hours of day, per hours of work per day, 6 hours. Meanwhile, small and medium enterprises are required to pay their employees minimum wage of 5,700. From the past research, it shows that 24% of the percent is indicated that there is a high influence politics, corruption, and transparency in recruitment in Maldives. And another 53% also asserted that influence of being biased and favorism when recruiting employees in Maldives. Maldives economic freedom. In the economic index, Maldives is ranked to 31st among 40 countries in the Asia Pacific region. It's overall below the average. Reasons: because the economy of Maldives has been declined, inadequate rules maybe or laws, poverty rights, judicial effectiveness, and the government integrity. Maybe these are the results. That recommendations for this full employment and decent work with equal pay in Maldives. I would like to recommend that Maldivian the government of Maldives needs to formulate a comprehensive tourism recovery plan, as they have, this plan, this goal has set in their activity plan to rebuild the destination's economy, innovations, and investment, and retain the tourism sector. Since Maldives has 2% of disability people, it is important that government creates an opportunities and sustainable development plan for disability workers with decent pay structure, along with the health and safety working environment. Past literature also says that the more transparency and accountability in academic recruitment and selection could overcome inequality. Therefore, government and non-government organizations needs to enhance and strengthen recruitment and selection procedure when implementing employment law and other recruitment policies. However, at present, number of graduates are being increasing and unemployment rate is becoming higher in Maldives. Therefore, the sustainable economic development, it is important to create job opportunities by creating value-added service through entrepreneurship and teaches technical skills to ensure productive employment. In the year 2019, New York report has said that Green Job Act 2016 provides a resilience and sustainable growth and decent jobs creation by providing incentives to the Philippines. In the same note, it has highlighted the basic educational program highlights new technical vocational livelihoods that teaches technical skills to ensure productive employment. So therefore, this could be applicable to the Maldives too. So here I'm going to end this presentation. I hope you all got some insights from Maldives goal number 8.5, and thank you so much for listening me.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening us with describing current statistical data of Maldives on this topic. Now we have Dr. Sangeeta Tripathi, Assistant Professor, University of Technology and Applied Science, Salah Oman. Ma'am, you are cordially invited for the Target 8.6 Promote Youth Employment Education and Training. Dr. Sangeeta Tripathi is currently an assistant professor of mass communication at the University of Technology and Applied Sciences, Ministry of Higher Education, Oman, and was previously associated with the Institute of Management Studies, Noida, India. Dr. Sangeeta has completed her education at Banaras Hindu University and MGKV, State University, India. She has started her career as a TV journalist. Later, she embarked on an academic career. She has been active in communication and mass media research. Her area of research is public relations, advertising, media education, and online media. She has attended Oxford Summer Policy School 2019. She has presented her research paper to different international conferences in Dubai, Thailand, London, the USA, and India. Recently, her research project titled Advanced Communication Role in Creating Conscious and Acceptability for Innovative Tourism to support diversified economic drive in the Sultanate. He has been approved by Research Council TRC, Ministry of Higher Education, Oman. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can you share? Yes. I think you are able to see my screen.
Yes, your PPT is going to be shared.
Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to share my thought here. It's a really pleasant to be part of this UN SDC. And let's start with my topic. Actually, my topic is Goal 8.6, promoting youth employment, education, and training in the Sultanate of Oman, challenges and scope to achieve Oman Vision 2040. So I will just shift my this thing because my can I do this? Can I move this here? I think this is okay for me. Now, today I'm going to talk about Oman Vision and how it is aligned with the uh, development, sustainable development here in the era of globalization and fourth industrial revolution. Oman is focusing on complete development. Oman Vision 2040 set high aspiration to the sustainable growth. Through strategic diversified economic plan, the Sultanate is aiming to reduce reliance on oil and gas. The five promising sectors like industries, transport, logistics, tourism, fish abundance, and mining have been identified to focus more for this diversified drive. Along with this, less dependence on foreign expatriate workforce, organizations, implementations of successful privatization program, industrialization, and technological innovations to compete global market have been also included in this process. The Sultanate's beautiful geographical locations, rich cultural heritage, cheap energy resources, and abundance of raw material particularly mine like natural resources are encouraging for sustainable growth. So if we see that Oman 2040 vision, it is properly outlined a strategic goal and directions. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought numerous challenges for not only one country, to the whole world. So the Sultanate is also faced that to overwear these challenges, the Sultanate effort is really commendable. Oman Vision 2040 clearly outlined the national priorities that interpret aspiration into actions with clear milestones. The strategic goal and direction to achieve Vision 2040 demands collaborative efforts from the government, citizens, private sectors, and civil societies of the countries. In the digital era, new innovations and development in technology is offering unparalleled opportunities to the societies and community. To respond to this, the digital revolutions, the Oman is well positioned to take full advantage and to ride these waves of evolutions and create its own wave of innovations. We say that Oman is a young country. Why? Because its population is more than 5.2 million, and 16 to 29-year group Omanis represent almost 65% of the population. So that is the reason Oman is considered as a young nation. At present, the unemployment rate is actually a concern because this is 4.97. To mitigate this challenge, Oman government is emphasizing on the urbanization policies. The country is continuously stressing the significance of education, training to develop and replace natural human resource to expatriate workforce. Since the dawn of national renaissance in 1970, late His Majesty Sultan Qaboos bin Said has repeatedly stated that Oman's most crucial resource is the national human resource. So that need to be empowered, okay, so that we can meet with the development goal. In recognition of this national objective, the government has established and empowered a number of public institutions such as the High Committee for Vocational Training, the Ministry of Social Affairs, Labor and Vocational Training, the Chamber of Commerce and Industry Organization, follow-up committees to oversees the humanization process, the training and development actually taking place under that. This has been initiated and supported by a number of humanization schemes and initiatives as a measure towards replacing the large expatriate workforce in the country, as well as to ensure the qualified and skilled carrier of Omani workforce to actively participate in the country economic development and prosperity. How the government is supporting this all because the government wanted to promote education and scientific drive in the country so that it can actually help to create a workforce, Omani workforce here in the country that can replace expatriate workforce. So year 2021 has been marked as renewed Renaissance under the leadership of His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq, who acceded to the TAR on 11 January 2020. To mitigate this employment issue and overall the other challenges, Oman government has accelerated Omanization process this time, especially to train skilled national workforce. Different level of basics and higher education system need to be developed. So they are actually focusing on the AI, augmented reality, artificial intelligence to be included in education system so that it can be more empowered and trained and can facilitate better training to the Omani youth. The Research Council of Oman, Ministry of Higher Education, has passed 446 scientific proposals for the year 2020. Its sole aim is to lead to knowledge-based society and boost up confidence among Omani youth. How other drives are taking place. Actually, this drives, along with that, the ministry is also supporting SMEs to generate self-employment in the country, to promote self-employment. Different kind of youth projects are taking place, and some funds are, generated to support family business and SMEs in the country. In the past 5 years under NINE's 5 years plan, the stress was laid on diversification of economy, humanization and privatization process to boost up and support the country's economy. The authority for small and medium enterprises also working in hand to develop SMEs, enterprises and family business in the country. A new Royal Decree 107 by 2020 has merged two government programs, RIADA and Al-Rafa, to encourage SMEs and family business in Oman. Along with that, authorities for small and medium enterprises work as arm to develop small and medium enterprises to continue to contribute to the country economy. This body provides course and business advisory, SMEs toolkit mentoring and training programs. SMEs toolkit supports local entrepreneurs by providing international partners and expert guidelines. Oman Development Bank is also working to promote local business in support to economic challenges created by the pandemic. The bank played a significant role to stimulate the country's economy. The bank applied to Oman government directives to deal with the pandemic impact on the economy. I will move to the next slide. Despite the pandemic created challenges, ODB has achieved an encouraging result in terms of approving loans. You can see here the Oman Vision 2040 is working very closely and in 2020, an increase of 13% approved loan they have done, and that is recorded 11,812 Omani riyal. It was 83% compared to 2019, which is can be considered a great jump here. The total amount was 68.8 million. The support from the Oman government has created a breathtaking atmosphere for already established SMEs and family business. A specialized training program has been included under this training agreement to enhance and develop entrepreneurial and managerial skills to the Omani youth. Oman families business is an integral part of the country's. Oman government also understands this, and that is the reason they are pushing this drive. Uh, According to the data issued by the National Center for Statistics and Information in June 2021, the registration of SMEs reached 54.726 compared to 2020. In 2020, it was 44,448, which is just after the pandemic started. These small enterprises became a helping hand to the people of Oman and lessen the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the community and economy of the country. According to the Oman news agencies, statement an increase of 23.1% has been recorded in June 2021. Around 50,000 small, micro, and medium enterprises have been registered with the Authority for Small and Medium Enterprises Development. Promoting SMEs to encourage local enterprises, entrepreneurs, and family business in the Sultanate. The Oman government took several initiatives such as Sanad, which is actually a fund 2001. Al Rafat is also a fund which has been introduced in 2013. SMEs fund in 2014. These are the funds which are actually promoting the SMEs in the country to overbear the unemployment issues. Sultan Qaboos University has become another vehicle to promote SMEs. They often organize several events to bridge the gap between educational institutions, market, and SMEs. In May 2017, they had organized an event linking Oman higher education with public and private sector. SAS program to promote ICT-based business also helped them to build a robust ICT sector of Oman. Oman government visit and afford promote different business establishment at local and international level. Oman government plan, programs and policies have embodied Omani's women participation also means it is ensured that they are playing their part. Due to the government effort and Oman women empowerment drive, family engagement and interest to open family business have become noticed more. The family's business is considered an integral part now in Oman economy as it contributes to the national GDP that sustain a diversified economic growth. Women entrepreneurs and families are mainly involved in designing cosmetics, perfumes, natural soap, papayas, and trailing product, pickles making, and its preservation, canning, and packaging, catering, the bucket for money scrap, frankincense, and oil for natural beauty use. To support family engagement in business, the Ministry of Social Development organized a campaign also in 2020 when its name was You Are Creative, You Are Productive. It was held in Baraka, a city, to help and display their products into the campaign that included different activities to improve the social security of Omani family. Through supportive material awareness workshops, from time to time, some other campaigns has been conducted in this regard. To eradicate the pandemic impact, Amran Group has launched a program in September 2021. Its sole aim was to support and encourage aspiring entrepreneurs and artists to showcase their talent, skills, and capability. The success of Oman government initiatives can be seen as the release dated to the National Center for Statistics and Information that displays that 42,163 SMEs registered till the end of November 2019. That has increased of 4,874 SMEs registrations that is actually recorded in 2018. So this number already jumped in 2021, and we can see here that SMEs registration surged by 14% till the end of 2020 December. It stood 48,669, which is 20%, which has become 53,166 by the end of May 2021. So this data actually is encouraging, and it seems that it is actually going to contribute to generate youth youth employment. Fresh data released by an NCSI Oman displayed that the total registration for SMEs reached 56,687. It is 24% more than last year. The surge in SMEs registrations can be seen reason-wise as well. So if we see, there are 11 reasons. The government of Al Dakhliya received a 2.1% increase, while Dhofar, which is the south part of Oman, they have received 23.8%. North Sharqiya, this is the north side, 21.2%. South Sharqiya, 27.5%. South Medina, 28.1%. Al Dhahira, 17.2%. Al Burami, 23.9%, and Al Bushta, 37.5%, and Musandan, 44.9% SMEs registration received. The Muscat was the highest in receiving. It is 17,927 SMEs. Okay. So till December 2021-24, 142 small and medium enterprises have been funded by SMEs Fund with a total value of 30 million Omani Riyal. Al Rafat Fund has also approved 22,563 loan by end of April 2020. Till April, more than 99 million Omani Riyal have been given to flourishing entrepreneurs and SMEs in the country. Due to this, 4,229 direct employment have been generated to Omani youth with 64%, 64.77% male and 35.3% female. Repayment of the loan was also high, that is 83.9%, displays the growth of open and establishment of the SMEs. It has been noticed that most of the SMEs are being handled like family business. It means family members are involved and associated with a firm like an owner and managers. Oman Culture and Cooperative Nation Society are highly related to the family-based business due to its collective nature. So now the target to create 32,000 jobs in private and public sector. This directive has come from His Majesty. The Ministry of Labor is targeting to create 32,000 jobs opportunity for the Omanis this year. So this target includes 7,602 jobs opportunities from the public sector and others from the private sectors. Public sector jobs opportunity is at a glance, how it is going to be. The Ministry of Education, they are targeting 469. Ministry of Health, 830. Ministry of Higher Education, 115. Ministry of Agriculture, Wealth, Fisheries and Water Resource, 151. Municipal sector, 65. Job opportunities, University of Technology and Applied Sciences, 292. And other sectors, they are expecting to generate 1,280. So their training program, along with this, supporting to SMEs and family business, there are other targets to set and generate the jobs. Along with that, they are focusing on the training programs as well. So training of 10,000 job seekers to enhance their skills as per requirement of labor market. So training of 3,000 job seekers within the entrepreneurship program for SMEs. Year 2021 training projects aim to develop national human capital. Ministry of Culture, Sports, and Youth also contribute in this training program. If we look forward a phase during the period of 2011-2020, percentage of urbanizations of jobs in the labor market, either say the government either or the private sector, was 2.16. Jobs seekers training is actually planned. 6,000 job seekers will be trained under the employment related plan. This is a plan that is planning to change the labor law of the country and civil law as well. Each private company is required to submit a report on its employees that need to be submitted online to the ministry website. A new employment application system will replace the process of bringing expatriate workers instead of issuing permit. This is a radical regulatory action which is going to be considered. There will be 8% replacement in the process of managers, specialists, and technicians. So thank you for listening. This is all from my side.
We are thankful to you, ma'am, for sharing your wonderful presentation and expertise views with us on this important topic. Now, for Target 8.8, we have Niara Radhavan with us. She is Assistant Professor in Mechanical Department, Faculty of Engineering, Suez, Canal University, Egypt, King Abdulaziz University, Saudi Arabia. Dr. Niara got her PhD degree from the Mechanical Department, Faculty of Engineering, Egypt. Then she got a scholarship to the Technical University in Sofia, Bulgaria, to get a diploma in mechanical engineering. She is working as an assistant professor in the Mechanical Department, Faculty of Engineering, Suez Canal University, Ismailia, Egypt. Moreover, she is an assistant professor in King Abdulaziz University, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, as well as she as the quality assurance officer for the PhD program there. She spent more than 20 years teaching research work in different universities. Dr. Niara has contributed many international projects, contribution and published many papers in high quality peer reviewed journals. Moreover, she is serving as an editorial board member in many international journals. She also serves as a reviewer in many international journals. She is an international speaker also. She participated as a keynote speaker in many international conferences in many countries, such as Canada, Italy, Singapore, Malaysia, Pakistan, UAE, and India. She is an active member in many international academic communities. She got many national and international awards such as. Over to you, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you very much for the nice introduction. I'd like to thank you for giving me to be with you today. Thank you for all the organizers. Special thanks to Prof. Rashmi for her invitation and for her great effort to organize the conference. Thank you very much. Can I share my screen, please?
Yes, yes.
It's shown in the full mood, doctor. Okay.
Yeah, visible.
Thank you. Today talk about Sustainable Development Goal 8, specifically about Target 8.8. So first, let us know Sustainable Development Goal. Sustainable goals are global goals, were adopted by the United Nations in the year 2015 as a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that by the year 2030, all people enjoy peace and prosperity. Sustainable development goals are integrated. That action in one area will affect outcomes in others, and that development must balance social, economic, and environmental sustainability. Countries have for those who is furthest beyond. The Sustainable Development Goals are designed to end poverty and discrimination against women and girls, creativity, know-how, technology, and financial resources from all of society is necessary to achieve the sustainable development in economies. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. In transforming our world, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, the United Nations member states express their determination to ensure that all human beings can enjoy prosperous and fulfilling lives, and that economic, social, and technological progress occur in harmony with nature. They resolve and create conditions for sustainable inclusion and sustained economic growth, shared prosperity, and decent work for all, taking into account different levels and capabilities. Member states and sustainable development recognized that eradicating poverty in all its forms and dimensions, combating inequality within and among countries, preserving the planet, creating sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, and fostering social inclusion, all of which are other and are interdependent. Furthermore, member states emphasize that sustained, inclusive, sustainable economic growth is essential for prosperity that is required for income quality, eradicating of child labor, forced labor, and human trafficking, promoting dynamic, sustainable, innovative, and people-centered economic youth employment, women empowerment, and decent work for all. And that everyone would benefit from healthy and well-educated workforce with the knowledge and skills needed for productive and fulfilling work and full participation in society. Today we will talk about Sustainable Development Goal number 8, which is decent work and economic growth. Sustainable Development Goal number 8 initially calls on the international community to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. It captures two main economic themes that are strongly interlinked in economic growth. People in decent jobs and healthier workforce can lead to stronger and more inclusive economic growth, and vice versa. It is a strong relationship that deserves more attention in decision making. With the year 2030 agenda, the world has a one in a generation chance to make a real change in economic policy making, and development plans will not only generate decent work opportunities, but also more just, inclusive, and poverty-reducing growth. It is a vigorous skill that is as good for the economy as it is for people, and potentially for the planet as well. Of the year 2030 and 2030. There are 12 targets underlying Sustainable Development Goal number 8. Targets 8.6 and 8.p are to be achieved by the year 2020, and all the other targets by the year 2030. This is the targets table. For target 8.8, it states that protect labor rights and promote safe and secure working environment for all workers, including workers, employed women, migrants, and those in precious employment. These targets contain two indicators, as shown here in this slide. The first one for target 8.8, it states that frequency rates of fatal and non-fatal occupation injures by 6 and migrant states. In 8.2, increase in national compliance and collective bargaining based on international labor organization, textual sources, and national legislations by sex and migrant states. Let us now understand and know what is the importance of the Sustainable Development Goal number 8. While developing countries have grown at a rate faster than developed regions, sustained economic growth everywhere will be critical to fulfilling national development targets over the next 15 years. Economic growth, which makes our world more prosperous, is strongly linked to our other years. Stronger economies will offer us more opportunities to build a more resilient and sustainable world. And economic growth must be inclusive, growth that doesn't improve the well-being of all sections of society, especially the most vulnerable, is unequal and unfair. The development goals promote sustained economic growth, higher levels of productivity and technological innovation, encouraging entrepreneurship and job creation are key to this, and are effective measures to eradicate forced labor, slavery, and human trafficking. As shown in the slide here, there are different key drivers of economic growth, such as increasing the activity labor supply, expanding the capital, extracting and selling natural resources, and improving productivity. Now, let us discuss what are the challenges with the Sustainable Development Goals number 8. Globally, annual gross domestic product declined from 4.4% in the year 2000 to 3.2% in the year 2017. 1 in 10 people in the world lived on less than $1.9 in the year 2015. And in too many places, having a job doesn't guarantee the ability to escape from poverty. This slow and uneven progress requires us to rethink and retool our economic and social policies aimed at eradicating poverty. According to the International Labour Organization, estimates the global is expected to be 5.5% in the year 2018, marking a turnaround after 3 years of rising unemployment rates. However, with a growing number of people entering the labor market to seek employment, The total number of unemployment is expected to remain stable in the year 2018 at above 172 million. In the year 2017, around 42% of workers, which mean about 1.4 billion, worldwide are estimated to be in vulnerable forms of employment, while this share is expected to remain particularly high in developing and emerging countries at above 76% and 46%. In the year 2017, extreme working poverty remained widespread, with more than 300 million workers in emerging and developing countries having a per capita household income or consumption of less than $1.9 per day. A current lack of decent work opportunities, insufficient investments, and underconsumption has led to an erosion of the basic social contract underlying democratic societies that all must share in progress. The creation of quality jobs will remain a major challenge for almost all economies, but inclusive growth must also be recognized of the needs of the most vulnerable children, youth, and women. Achieving Sustainable Development Goal 8 requires a sustained process of economic growth, particularly in the least developed countries, but also in middle income and emerging countries. This is necessary to raise income levels, generate decent jobs, and improve well-being for all citizens. Growth based on cyclic demand on the export of natural resources or on mere factor accumulation has not been able to deliver such long-term effects. The available evidence suggests that without sustained economic growth, many poor countries will fail to achieve some of the key economic and social targets under Sustainable Development Goal number 1, and which is no poverty, Sustainable Development Goal number 2, which is zero hunger, Sustainable Development Goal number 3, which is good health and well-being, as well as Sustainable Development Goal number 5, which is gender equality. The International Labour Organization has contributed by exploring this dynamic of economic transformation and explaining the role of social transformation in driving a virtuous circle. This figure illustrates the circular progress. The blue box here refers to structural transformation in the economy and the forces that fuel growth in income, productivity, jobs, complexity, and experiences, thereby promoting Sustainable Development Goal 8 targets. The red boxes here related to social transformation, which is fundamentally driven by changes in the commonly shared knowledge and belief systems. These changes in turn affect economic transformation through various channels. The figure here also shows how the achievement of transformative change depends critically on progress on various targets under Sustainable Development Goal 8 and other targets, other Sustainable Development Goals targets that span across the economic, social, and environmental forces. Progress on these targets is not achieved automatically. However, while market dynamics do play a certain role, it is above all public policies and institutions that drive and accelerate such progress. Now, in goal of the let us discuss and show how the COVID-19 pandemic how it is affect achieving a Sustainable Development Goal. The Sustainable Development Goal 2020, this is a recent report, uses the latest available data and estimated to reveal the devastating impact of the crisis on the Sustainable Development Goals and point out areas that require urgent and coordinated action. The report was prepared by the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs in collaboration with international agencies. The report states that even before the pandemic hit, global economic growth had slowed. The COVID-19 around the world and caused the worst recessions since the Great Depression. The year 2020, 8.8% of global working hours were lost related to the fourth quarter of the year 2019, equivalent to 255 million full-time jobs, about 4 times the number lost during the global financial crisis in the year 2017 to 2007 and 2009. The pandemic has put workers in informal employment at risk, as they lack protection against illness or lockdowns. Workers and women have been particularly affected by the crisis. With the rollout of COVID-19 vaccines, the United States of America and China are expected to experience strong growth in the year 2021. However, for many other countries, economic growth will remain below pre-pandemic trends for a prolonged period. Here, for many countries, the road to economic recovery may be long. The global economy grew by an average of about 2% from the year 2014 to the year 2018. In the year 2019, real growth per capita increased by only 1.3% globally and is estimated to have decreased by 4.6% in the year 2020, as shown here. Underway by China and the United States. Global growth demonstrates product per capita is projected to increase by 4.3% in the year 2021 and 3.1% in the year 2022. However, for many countries, economic growth is not expected to reach to pre-pandemic level until the year 2023. According to the Sustainable Development Goal, pandemic affects the Sustainable Development Goal, such as the following. Let us see with each other the report goals. COVID-19 has led to massive job losses, particularly among youth and women. By the year 2020, the employment reached 6.5%, up 0.1 percentage points from the previous year. The number of people unemployed worldwide increased by 33 million, reaching 220 million, as shown in the figure. Another 81 million people left the labor market altogether. Latin America and Europe and North America recorded increases in the employment rate of at least 2 percentage points. Youth and women were especially hard hit, with employment losses of 8.7% and 5% respectively in the year 2020, compared with 7% for adults and 3.9% for women. The employment rate was already 3 times that of adults. During the crisis, women were more likely than men to drop out of labor force in order to. This further increased long-standing gender gaps in labor force rates. The report states that the effect number 2 for Sustainable Development Goal A, the level of social safety has left workers on their own to cope with the COVID-19 fallout. Before the pandemic, informal employment represented 60.2% global employment. This means that 2 billion people worldwide worked in jobs characterized by lack of basic protection, including social protection coverage. The share is much higher to lower developing countries, where the proportion of informal employment in total employment was 88.7 in the year 2019. Globally, the share of informal employment was 90.7% in the agriculture sector, compared with 48.9% in the non-agriculture sector, as seen in the figure. Estimates suggested that 3/4 of informal, which is about 1.6 billion, were significantly affected by lockdown measures and were worked in the hardest hit sections. Among them, women were over 42% were in sections, compared with 3% workers higher into poverty and we experience great challenges in gaining their roles during the recovery. The effect number 3 is the worst year on record for international tourism. Disproportionately affected small island developing states. In the decade before the pandemic, the gross domestic product generated by international tourism increased at a higher rate than the rest of the economy. In the year 2019. However, as one of the sectors most affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, a reversal in this trend is expected for 2020 and international from the year 2019 to 2020, from 1.5 billion to 381. This represents a 74% decline, which takes tourism back to level seen 300 years ago. It also translates into an estimated loss of $1.3 and 11 times loss experienced as a result of the 2007 to 2009 global financial crisis. So, 220 million tourism jobs have been put at due to the pandemic. This proportionally affected women. The massive drop in tourism affects all regions, with millions of livelihood and businesses at risk, and affected progress toward the Sustainable Development Goals. The impact is especially pronounced in small island developing states, since they are more reliant than other countries on tourism as a source of income and employment. Among those states with available data, tourism expenses represents 25% of gross domestic product. On average, compared with 5% among non-small island developing states with data. Worldwide, many countries have been able to alleviate the impact of the crisis for the tourism. It's not feasible for small island developing states in the short term, since they are heavily depends on international tourism and have relatively small domestic markets. International tourism is not expected to return to 2019 levels for up to 4 years, leaving the poorest island state disadvantaged in terms of progress towards development. The final point in the report was the pandemic has led to an increase in youth who are not employed in school or in training. In the year 2019, 22.3% of the world youth were not engaged in either education, employment, or training, a share that has shown no reduction in over a decade. Moreover, quarterly figures indicates that the not engaged in either education, employment, or training rate worsens from the fourth quarter of the year 2019 to the second quarter of 2020 in 42 out of 49 countries with available data. This is not surprised, as young workers were more severely affected than older workers by employment losses in the year 2020. Both technical and vocational education and on-the-job training served massive disparate force many to find their study. Worldwide, young women are too white, as likely as young men to be jobless and not engaged in education on training in the year 2019. I wanted to repeat the Secretary General of the United Nations words. He says that sustainable development goals are more important now than ever. Now is the time to secure the well-being of people, economies, societies, and our planet. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So it's the time to say thanks to everyone. We have speakers from different countries, and today with us Dr. Sangeeta from Oman, Dr. Ravikant from India, Dr. Naira from Egypt, and Dr. Muthu Fataha from Maldives. They all have given their very well presentation, and you all have highlighted lot of things related with the goal of 8, and you have shown the situation of your countries, like what is the situation of the Maldives and what is the situation of the Oman. And same, Dr. Ravikant has also focused that in the pandemic situation, how India was facing. So it's my great pleasure that my team is giving their precious time to us. And thank you very much for my supporting team behind of this group. So all my UN SDG group, I would like to give a big thanks those who have given their main important time here. Thank you, Dr. Ahmad from Malaysia has joined here. Thank you, Dr. Heidi Yugun from Turkey. He has joined here and give us their time. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Sharu. You has did very well. Thank you very much, all of you. We will meet tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Rashmi. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Rashmi. Thank you very much.